And even the angriest of restorers' wives would be happy with that result. G'day world. Today we're going to hydroblast clean some really putrid engine components in a carburettor for my TS400 build. And so stick around and hopefully you'll see a magnificent result. I'm Craig Jenkins from Bendigo Hydroblasting. Thanks for tuning in. Well, here we are back in the workshop, and as luck would have it, it's just started raining, so I've got no excuse now but to do some work. I'll give you a look at the bits we're going to clean up today. As you've probably seen from previous videos, I've been cleaning parts up and just putting them in plastic bags and putting them in boxes so that when I do get to assembling the bike or rebuilding the engine or whatever, all the parts I have will be nice and clean, because I just hate working with shitty dirty parts. Anyhow, I'll give you a look at the bits. So here's the parts I'm planning on cleaning up today. Got the cylinder off it. Now that's got a broken stud down in that hole there that's going to have to be taken out at some stage, and this one here has been flogged out, so that's going to need a helicoil or repairs at some stage. But as I said, we'll clean this up and then we'll be able to work on it properly, take some measurements, see whether it needs reboring or not. But yeah, I'm going to dry blast that for a start to get rid of all that crap off it, and then I'm going to pop it in the wet blaster, the hydro blaster, and give it a wash and make that nice and clean. We've also got the manifold rubber here. We'll give that a quick wash. There's not too much in that. The carby, now I don't even know whether that's off the bike or not, because some bozo has cut up their radiator hoses from the car and made some sort of mounting apparatus for it. So we'll strip that carby down, take the guts out of it, and we'll give that a wash. And that piston there too, we'll clean that up. I don't know whether I'm going to reuse that or not. As I said, once it's all clean, I'll be able to get an idea as to whether it needs a rebore or whether it just needs rings. And while I've got you, I'll take you over here and show you what these bozos have done with this engine. At some stage, and they've run it like this, they've had the cylinder off it, they've picked up a gasket from somewhere that didn't fit, cut it to suit, left a big chunk of cardboard there covering one of the transfer ports, and obviously the gear lever was a bit dodgy, a bit loose, so we've stick welded that, and by Jesus, they've had a good go at it. Must have used about 4 rods on that, I reckon. Anyhow, that one's for a later day. Anyway, we'll get onto these parts now and clean them up and give you a bit of a look at them when they're looking a bit better. We might start with the easy bits first. So we'll pop this piston over here in the time machine and take a few years off its life. Oh, get a look at that. No black shit left on that. Oh, a bit of a ding here and a bit of a ding here. Oh, look at that. It says S0.5. So it's obviously had a second oversize put in it. Yeah, well, nice and clean anyway. We'll give that a wash off and a blow off, pop it on the bench and give you a proper look at it. Well, here's a look at that piston after a few minutes in the hydroblaster machine. Very shiny and nice looking, nice and clean. Ring grooves are nice and clean. As I said, second oversize. You can actually see the arrow pointing to where it's supposed to go. And have a look at this while I'm here. That's a 81 RM250 swing arm. First of the single shockers, I believe. See them brackets down in there. I don't know what these ones are for, but anyhow, and that's the exhaust of it. He's got a bit of work to do on that. But anyway, we'll get back to this. What I'll do now is this carby, I think. It's been a while since I've done a carby video for you guys. So what I'm going to do is I'll pop that on the workbench, strip the guts out of it, we'll blast it and give you a look at that when it's done. I decided not to bore you guys with stripping that carby down. Here it is already stripped. What I've done is I've pulled all the guts of that, the float and everything out of there and the jets. I've actually left the idle mixture screw and the idle speed screw in it because I want to clean them up. They come up nice. They're just a little bit hard to hold in the machine by themselves. So before I reassemble that, once it's clean, I'll strip those those screws out and make sure there's no residue inside that carby. The drain plug on the bowl, I've just loosened that off. What I'll do is I'll wash that. I'll clean the drain plug, then I'll take it out, pull it out, and put the bowl back in and give it a proper wash inside and out. As you can see, that is full of crap in there, but that'll clean up nicely. And the other bits here, we'll have a go and pop them back on the bench and give you a look at those when I'm finished. There's those carby parts all sparkling. What I'll do now is I'll chuck that back together and give you a look at what a 47-year-old Mikuni carb looks like when it's been done the Bendigo Hydroblasting way. I've taken those screws out and cleaned that. I've blown the carbies out. There's not a skerrick of glass left inside that thing. And as you can see in there, nice and clean. Nice and clean under there. That is the only way to clean carbies if you're going to do them, is to strip them down before you bring them here. Otherwise, you take them home, they're full of glass, you put them in the cupboard, and they end up no good in a few years' time when you get to them. There's that carby all back together, ready to go back on the bike. That's looking pretty sexual if you ask me. Time to give that manifold a quick freshen up. And that rubber manifold's come up nice. That's one good thing about this process. It does clean rubber up very nicely as well. That manifold actually fits that carby. I don't know why old mate's cut up his radiator hoses. There doesn't appear to be any cracks or breaks in that, but oh, he must have seen it on YouTube. Okay, about to start stage one on this cylinder. We're going to dry blast all that shit off now. I'm not going to worry about taping up any of the bore because I'm not going to impact in there, and it's shouldn't be enough pressure to damage that anyway. But we'll dry blast that out, pull it out, give you a look at it, and then we'll stick it in the Hydroblaster machine and give it a real clean. Well, that's a TS400 cylinder out of the dry blasting cabinet. There was a lot of work in that. I'm not going to bullshit you. That probably took me an hour and a half to get to that stage, getting in there with a scriber and a scraper and stuff, getting rid of all the road grime and grease and oil and shit that was built up on it. And there was a decompressor port in there that needed to be cleaned out. That was coked up. That would never have worked. But so if you're looking at getting your parts hydroblasted, the cleaner you can give them to your hydroblaster, the cheaper it's going to be for you. Anyhow, we'll pop that in the hydroblasting cabinet and we'll give that a wash and give you a look at it when it's done. Here it is in the wet blasting cabinet. I always start on the underside of these fins. That way, the top of the fins that you're going to see later on get a bit of a pre-wash because they're the most important parts. You're going to see those. Anyhow, we'll fire this machine up and I'll give you a look at it when it's clean. And about 20 minutes later, we've opened the door and that's how she's looking. We'll give that a quick rinse. We'll pop it on, we'll dry it off, blow it off and get rid of any glass residue. And we'll pop it on the bench and have a look. Well, that result is amazing. Lighting's probably not doing this justice, but I reckon even the angriest of restorers' wives would be happy with that result. Give you a look in there, you can see inside the fins, nice and clean in there. Perfect starting point for your restoration. We'll just pop that away, and when I get to it, it'll be nice and clean for me to do work on it in the future. And here's another quick look of all the bits after they've been done. Well guys, that's how we turn dull shit into shiny good looking shit at Bendigo Hydroblasting. Don't forget to check out one of those videos. And don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Anyhow, thanks for watching. See you next time.